Hello, I'm Judy Wolfman. I'm a local author in York, Pennsylvania, as well as a storyteller. But telling stories and writing those stories can be two different things. However, I was able to combine both the telling and the writing into my latest book, The Long Escape. This is the story of Chinese immigrants who, back in the early 90s, were living a very difficult life in China. They had a one-child law, and if someone had more than one child, they were faced with sterilization, maybe even death. So many of them decided to leave China, come to America where they knew that they could be free, and they sought some sort of a way to get here. They didn't have much money. However, they heard about the smugglers known as snakeheads, who for several thousands of dollars would take them aboard a ship and bring them to America where they could be free. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite that easy. Their journey, they had to get to the port to begin with, was across terrain that was very, very difficult to travel. Malaria, some people died by the side of the path. Finally, they reached the port where they were supposed to get on board ship. They had to wait for quite some time. The ship that picked them up was a very old one. They were crammed into the quarters for a couple of days. They roamed on the seas under horrible, horrible circumstances. And then the ship kind of fizzed out, and they weren't able to go on that one anymore. Another ship came along, one that was named the Golden Venture. And this was the ship that they boarded. I'd like to read to you some of the situations that they encountered while living on that ship. The refugees quickly and quietly boarded the ship and went down the rungs of a rope ladder into the hold, where bunks tightly lined the bulkheads side by side. The hold was just a small 20 by 40 foot space divided into two floors made of loosely secured plywood planks. There were no windows, and the hold stunk from the passengers who had already been on board for 6 weeks. Where are we to sleep, they wondered. Hu Ying, which is one of the characters in the book, wondered all this, and just then one of the crew members told everyone to find a 2 by 6 foot patch of plywood on the floor, which would be their new home. It was like a human jigsaw puzzle with interlocking knees, elbows, heads, and toes. Lit by just a few naked light bulbs, the space was dim, and it was filled with the fog from cigarette smoke. The small room had only one bathroom to accommodate all those people. How can one bathroom take care of all of us, they wondered. Well, they found out that the bathroom was reserved for the 24 women on board. The men, they had to urinate wherever they could and shit in plastic bags which they threw overboard. The hold was hot, and the roar of the engine was deafening. The hold smelled of excrement and sweat. Just before they were ready to pull out, the captain stood at the top of the ladder and said, "We're all full, and we'll be pulling out soon. We have 286 passengers on board and 13 crew members. I hope you get to know each other. You're in for a long journey, and you must remain below so nobody will know you are here." And they did. They stayed below in those circumstances, in the heat, in the turmoil, in the rough waters. Eventually, the food supplies went down. They were fighting over what little bit of food they had left. The water was rusty from the pipes, red because of the rust. And when they washed, whether it be brushing teeth or washing their bodies, It was with salt water. Well, eventually they did reach America, only to go aground at Rockaway Beach, New York. But at least they were free.